Wow, folks. I was in the building tonight. That one really sucked. Our beloved New Jersey Devils on the eve of Brenden Dillon's 1,000th NHL game. Got to start off the top here. Congratulations to Brenden Dillon. As you guys all know, one of my favorite players and has been pretty much since he got here. He is the personification of heavier, edgier, more violent, a violent gentleman, a classy guy. So many things happened involving him, but congratulations to Dilly on his thousandth game. Wish the game went better for him. The Devils fall by a score of 5-3 to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now have dropped 2 in a row, both on home ice at the Rock. This one was absolutely disgusting on so many levels. There's just so much to get to here, but welcome back, Devils fans. All year long, please hit the subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And this one is, some of you are going to make fun of me for it. I'm dreading getting to the comments because I was peeking in there periodically throughout the game, and Doomer's going to doom, and Doomers are dooming heavy. But this is easily the worst loss of the season, in my opinion, and I'll get into all the reasons why. But easily the worst loss of the season. We get to the goals. The captain, Nico, starts it off on the power play. Beautiful play. Originally looked on the power play. Originally looked like I thought it was a Timo goal, but he immediately pointed to Nico. Timo looked like he may have gotten a piece of it before it went in, but he did not. Nicohischier gets his 10th of the season at 126. Early on in the game, from Brader and Dawson-Mercer, gives the Devils the 1-0 lead. And then a minute and a half later, what do you know? Andre Palat with some shifty moves, kicking the puck to his blade, makes a couple moves, gives the Devils a 2-0 lead. Pally gets his second of the season from Grits. Devils up 2-0. And then had a third that there was so much drama about. It was a timomeier goal at the time. I'm not sure what again, I was at the game and I haven't watched anything back yet, so I have no idea exactly what happened. But the refs must have been in really good positioning because it was kind of loose in the crease for several seconds, and I thought it was going to be blown dead at any second, but the ref must have been on it and had a good sight line on the puck. Everyone's digging around in the crease. Timo gets a nice whack at it, puts it in the back of the net. The refs originally are reviewing it for something. I don't know what the initial review was. They call it a goal. Merzlikins, Elvis is going crazy, and then Columbus challenges it for goaltender interference. They review that one. The verdict came back pretty quick that there was, in fact, interference. I think Nason was just like all up in Elvis's face on top of him. That goal gets called back. What would have been a 3-0 Devils lead stays 2-0. And then at 9:54, Columbus gets a goal on the power play, cuts the lead to 2-1. That is how the first period would end. And I was like, okay, it is what it is here. Chippy period. Let me pull up the thing. Bear with me 1 second. I just got back 2 seconds ago. Okay, yeah. First period ends 2-1. We get to the second period, and that is when it just becomes an absolute melee. Absolute melee. In the second period, I just lost my tab again here. I'm just trying to get the sequence of events because so many things happened. The goal's at 128. Okay, so yeah, nearly immediately in the second period is when shit hit the fan. Skirmish in front of the net. How do you say this idiot's name? This guy's a monster, too. Voronkov. Yeah, Voronkov and Dilly get into it. And pretty much Dilly gets jumped. I mean, he knew shit was about to go down. And, he never even... First, he was getting kind of choked, hugged from behind. Then the dude was in front of him, and then he knew the fight was about to happen. But I think even before, I got to watch it back, but I think it was before he even got his gloves off, the monster Voronkov, he's like 6'5", 235, absolute unit. just starts throwing bombs, Dilly's jersey over his head. And I think what put him down was he eats a nasty uppercut, and I think he hits his head on the ice. Again, I have to rewatch it. It's kind of hard to see exactly what's going on in the arena with everyone going crazy, and they show it pretty quick on the scoreboard. But Dilly gets dropped hard in his 1,000th game. And in my opinion, that was the end of the game for the New Jersey Devils, period. Dilly is one of the heart and soul warriors of this team, probably the toughest guy on the team, an elder statesman, a veteran. A lot of the guys look up to him. And it's kind of like when you're a kid, if like your toughest buddy in your friend group or your older brother gets his ass kicked on the playground. I mean, some of you are nerds and probably have no idea what I'm talking about. But for those of you that aren't and, had normal childhoods, you've all been in a schoolyard scuffle where like your tough guy gets his ass beat and you're like, whoa. And like sends a shockwave through your friend group. You're like, they just, Billy just got knocked out. Like we're in trouble here. And I think that's exactly what happened tonight. Unfortunately, that was a scary moment. Dilly goes down hard, eventually gets up and is getting like basically dragged off the ice and down the tunnel. The imagery of it all was really scary. And I think that at that point just zapped the Devils emotionally. I mean, the game wasn't over and they had their pushes, but I do think that was the beginning of the end where Columbus really started to turn the tide and kind of snatch the souls out of our bodies because seconds later, Monahan ties it up at 2. And that's where it was like, all right, now it's tied at 2. Dilly went down the tunnel. Just a very uneasy feeling, I think, throughout the building. And it was just not a good feeling to see a guy like Dilly. Again, your toughest guy. Oh, win or lose, we booze, guys. I'm just so pissed off. I'm going with the Nooners. High Noon Peach. Unfortunately, tonight, we are not drinking victory drinks. These are, in fact, loser beverages. Choke them down, kids. Cheers to all of you, and cheers to our man Dilly for his 1,000th game and coming back after this fracas, at least temporarily. Game tied up at 2. After 2, we go to the third. And I was a little uneasy going into the third, but I thought they would find a way to maybe rally. A million scraps, obviously. I'm not going to even go through every single one, but that second period was just completely insane. So after the Dillon fight, not a fight, but Connor Brown cross-checked Renski, slashed Fantilli, then Monahan and Cotter didn't get a fighting major there. Yeah, it was insane to even keep track of all this shit at the game. But Cotter and Monahan kind of wrestling, and then Fantilli basically jumps Siegenthaler, and then he begrudgingly throws a couple punches at the end, and then somehow Siegs gets a game misconduct. And at that point, Dilly had not come back yet. So there, 4 minutes into the second period, it's looking like the Devils are going to have to play with 4 defensemen for nearly 2 full periods, with one of them being 21-year-old Shimo Nemitz and the other one being 22-year-old Luke Hughes, who have already been, kind of thrust into the fire with lots of minutes and playing in all situations as a result of the many injuries to the Devils' blue line already. And now temporarily down to 4 defensemen. I mean, when it rains, it pours, guys. You already know the injury curse is here. But then what else? We had Severson and Timo got into it. And then I got to give the warrior of the night, it's got to be Dilly, but a co-warrior of the night would be Stefan Nason for going after this mutant freak after, to defend Dilly's honor. This guy is an absolute monster. And credit to Nason. You guys know I love the Junkyard Dog. He takes this guy to task, goes after him, and gets pretty quickly ragdolled. Gets back to his feet, and then they kind of wrestle a little bit. Then I think Nason kind of got a takedown and maybe got a couple punches while the refs were on top of them. Nothing great in terms of performance of the fight, but it just shows, brotherhood, sticking together, heavier, edgier, more violent, all that stuff, but not a great fight kind of, in and of itself. I'll say that the performance of the fight was lacking. What else do we hear? Let me see here. With something like that, I was Nason. Then Cotter fights former New Jersey Devil Brendan Smith, and then late in the period, Cody Glass and they didn't get fighting for that either. Cody Glass and Monahan. I guess their gloves never came off. I don't know. There was just fights or near fights everywhere. Complete bonkers. But then we go to the third period. Coyle gets the go-ahead goal at 6:40. Then they add another one on the power play to make it 4-2. Timomeier strikes a little bit later on the power play to cut it to 4-3. And then former Devil Miles Wood puts the dagger in the New Jersey Devils a couple minutes later, short-lived. There was 8 minutes left after Timo scored, and it was like, all right, are they going to find a way to gut another one out and have another one of these sweet comebacks? But no, Miles Wood puts the dagger in. 5-3 Columbus. That is how it would end. This one sucked. It really sucked. We go to the game stats. Columbus, 24 shots on goal. Devils with 33. Blue Jackets killing us in the faceoff circle. 62.3% to the Devils, 37.7%. Jackets 1 for 3 on the power play. Devils 2 for 5. I mean, that's the maybe one encouraging thing from this game. But in the end, I can't even get excited. You guys know me. I'm not a moral victory, silver lining kind of dude. We got our asses kicked in all the fights, and we lost the game. You got to win one of the two. And I would have been fine with us getting our asses kicked as long as they were not backing down, standing up for each other, and then winning the game. I would have been content with that. But to lose every fight and lose the game is just a double kick in the balls. And this one really it stings. Worst loss of the season for sure, in my opinion. I'm sure some people will disagree, but to be up 2-0 and then just the way this whole thing unfolded, worst loss of the season. Jackets 21 hits, Devils 23. Blue Jackets 11 block shots, Devils 11 block shots. Blue Jackets 15 giveaways, Devils 14 giveaways. Blue Jackets 7 takeaways, Devils 5 takeaways. And let's just see if there's anything worth talking about here. I guess in terms of minutes, there's going to be a lot to talk about. Nason, 2 shots, 2 hits. Cody Glass, a shot and 2 hits. Nicohischier, a goal and an assist, continuing his point streak. 4 shots and a hit. Glendening, 3 blocks and 2 hits. Love to see that from him on the fourth line. Connor Brown had 2 penalties on the same sequence and a hit. Pally gets a goal to go with a block and a hit. Timo Meier, another goal, keeping his streak going as well. Him and Nico on fire, basically dragging this team to generate any kind of offense. 4 shots, a block, and 3 hits for Timo. Paulie Cotter with 6 hits. The Bratter with 2 assists. 4 shots. Would like to see Brad start scoring some goals soon. I know a lot of you have been talking about that. I mean, the assists are nice, but we need to see some goals hit the back of the net, bud. Grits with an assist, 3 shots, 2 blocks. The dog, Dawson Mercer, an assist, 3 shots. Dilly only playing 10.5 minutes in this 1,000th game. Not too much going on for him. Dougie, 3 shots, a block, 2 hits, 3 giveaways. Shimo Nemetz, a shot, 2 blocks, playing 30 minutes and 52 seconds. Give it up for our boy Nemo. I mean, this is 30 minutes and 52 seconds in a game that ended in regulation is absolutely bonkers. He played over 50% of the game. Completely insane. Nemo, I think, is going to be an absolute stud. We are watching the maturation of Shimo Nemetz before our very eyes, and gotta love Nemo. He was already being relied upon heavily, obviously, with all the injuries and things, and in conjunction with his hot November and just complete tear. Overtime winning hat trick, game-tying goals late in the third, 5 seconds left to send the Islanders game to overtime, the shootout winner, the OT winner again the other night. I mean, this kid is just breaking out, and 30 minutes and 52 seconds. I'd be curious to know where that ranks in New Jersey Devils history in terms of minutes played by a defenseman in a regulation game. That's got to be right up there. Nearly 31 minutes in a regulation game is insane. Lukehughes, 26-29. Lukehughes, all right, somebody said Nemo, a shot, 2 blocks. Lukehughes, a -3 on the evening. I'm sure I already know the comments are just going to be scathing towards Lukehughes. We'll get to all that. 6 shots, a block. Chalowski, 17-28 on ice. A shot and a hit. Siegs gets the gate early. And Jake Allen, a shaky one, but, he didn't get I'm not blaming this loss on him either. Again, I think this is a team loss, but Allen did not have a good night, in my opinion. 19 saves on 24 shots. And that is the kind of player stat situation. And we go to the deserve to win a meter. And once again, the opposite result of what the deserve to win meter says. It has the Devils winning 72.9% of the time after 1,000 game simulations. You look at the Devils scoring chances all over the place, but it doesn't matter. They lose the game despite the lopsided deserve to win meter. And that's it, guys. I am absolutely disgusted. It would have been such a great night for the Devils to win. Maybe even with or without the fights, just the Devils win in Dilly's 1,000th game would have been really nice. Nice little story. And demoralizing, honestly, to blow a 2-0, to be up 2-0 nearly 3 minutes in the game and then do nothing for almost the entirety of the rest of the game and then just get dummied in every fight. It sucked. And this is why I talk about, and some of you are going to be right in lockstep with me, and some of you are going to be on the other side of it because you're clueless. You need just animals. This is the National Hockey League. This is a sport with murderers. There's murderers on the ice on the nightly. Not every team is going to deploy them every night. Not every team is going to have them, kind of off the chain. A lot of times the murderers are there, but they might be, in the shadows. If tonight didn't show you that this New Jersey Devils team, unfortunately, is still not tough enough, I don't know what more you need to see. And again, I'll give the boys all the credit in the world for not backing down, but to go 0 in that many scraps is demoralizing. You got to win at least one. And I do think the energy was sucked out of the team when Dilly got dropped as our toughest guy. To see him get dropped like that by that mutant freak, it sucked. And that was the turning of the tide. And the game got away from the Devils, and it sucks. To lose in that fashion, again, after being up 2-0, 3 minutes in, you got to put teams away, especially on home ice. You got to put teams away. We get to the Bobby, thank you for the super. What's up, Ace? This was such an embarrassing loss. Give up points left and right, losing to teams you should be beating. Also, the refs effed up not calling the penalty on Wood. Blue Jackets 3-goal. Glad to see Keith bench Luke. He sucks. I know we're going to see a lot of this. We're going to see a lot of this in the comments. And listen, is Luke struggling right now? I'm going to say yes. I completely agree. Where I'm going to not agree with you people is that the kid is 22. He's going to be very good. Now, does that help us right now? No, it's not really helping us right now. But to constantly fixate on it and obsess and talk all this shit, what is wrong with you guys? What is wrong with you guys? Now, I think it's fair to say maybe he should be a scratch. Okay, even though I don't see that ever happening, I think that's within the range of something reasonable to say. But some of the stuff, and we'll get to some of it, I'm not even going to waste my time or other people's time with a lot of it. But I know when I look in the comments right now, it's just going to be absolutely ridiculous. And maybe he does need to have a game in the press box. Again, I can't see it happening, especially with all these injuries. We just cannot afford to teach people like Luke Hughes a lesson right now. We just can't. But, wow. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But thank you, Bobby. Really appreciate it. David, thank you for the super record time on ice. Ooh, Paulie Martin, 34-45. Was that in a regulation game, David? Is that confirmed in a 60-minute game? All right. Well, the chat is going off the chain here. Off the chain. Let me all right, so it's 10:44. All right, let's see. What a terrible one. Shout out to the few people I met tonight. There's a few of you guys. I was kind of sprinting around. Okay, this guy, Brian. I hate to attack you, but you're extra, my guy. You were talking your smack during the game. Ace, I understand Luke will make mistakes, but this is getting ridiculous. Why is he playing so many minutes? He needs to play less. What options does Keith have, my man? Tell me, especially on a night like tonight. At one point, we had 4 D-men. What did you want? Did you want Cholowski to load up on extra minutes? Nemo played 31 minutes. What do you want to happen? Tell me. Was the answer to play Cholowski 27 minutes? What was the answer here? We're decimated with injuries. We were down to 4 defensemen at one point tonight. What options do you have other than to ride your young stallions into the ground for the rest of the game. You have no option. None whatsoever. That's why he's playing so many minutes, Brian, because our whole defense is laid up in the hospital. Yeah, Natasha, of course, Miles Wood with 2 points today. Of course, former Devils just consistently going to scorch the Devils every time we play them. It is what it is. Pro Bowl, I want either Sherwood, Kyrou, or Tuck. I think Kyrou and Tuck are certainly pipe dreams. I could see maybe Sherwood, but now that I saw that the asking price was a first rounder plus, I just can't see us paying that price. I did tweet immediately when there was an initial report that Vancouver was looking for a second for him, and I immediately said I would trade a second for him right now, like without thinking about it, like tonight. And a lot of people flamed me for that because they're clueless. And then I guess the following day, the report came out that no, that the ask is going to be like a first plus, which would have made a second rounder a steal comparatively. Man, what a brutal game to be at. And I wasn't going to go either. My buddy was like, let's go. I mean, it was an exciting game, but then it was just demoralizing. But I wanted to see Dilly's 1,000th. David, where are you guys reading? We're going after Stamkos. All these things are just like speculation, rumors, and some of them put out by somewhat more credible people than others. But honestly, take all of this stuff with a grain of salt. Typically, you don't hear a lot of stuff from people with any sort of real insight, and it's just people kind of talking out of their you-know-whats. L. Schneider, we need toughness and character. Could not agree more. I want more dogs, more toughness, preferably, scritty guys, like we say, the skilled grit. We need scrit, but I mean, when you look after Dilly, who is bringing like toughness? And we have guys that are willing, but you need a little extra than what we have. And playoffs are going to be these types of environments. Obviously not as many fights, but there's going to be scuffles. There's going to be all these types of physical warfare activities. And if you don't have the personnel to do it, you're going to get beat up and punked. And we were the kids that got beat up. That got beat up on the playground tonight. Bullied by the bully on the schoolyard. And it really, really sucks. Tropical Flamingo, looking forward to beating this Columbus team next time we see them. We won't forget, bookmark this one. New Year's Eve, end their year with the black line. Go Devils. Sook says we lost to Brendan Smith. My God. Benjamin, don't throw if you can't throw. Not a good look. Eric, terrible performance. Allen better get that same hate that Markey has. He was horrible tonight. Yeah, I mean, not a good game for him. But, there's nothing negative about just bashing guys nonstop. Like, people just live in this very, very negativity bubble. Bobby, thank you for the super. I don't think he legit sucks, but he certainly isn't playing well since Pesci went down. You should have a talk with Luke. He will heed your advice. He's certainly not taking my advice. But, yeah, playing with Pesci obviously helped him. And I think anyone who plays with Pesci is going to get a little bit of a bump. When you're playing with a seasoned vet like that could kind of mask some of your shortcomings or mistakes, little mess up within the game. Pesci's there to cover that ass, baby. Pesci's going to cover that butt. And, we're also, again, putting youth with youth. And this is why I have talked about pretty much since the beginning of this channel and for however long some of you have been watching me. Youth pairings give me heart palpitations. I always like to see a super young guy with a vet. Now, we have what I call the roller coaster thrill ride pairing of Hughes and Nemo, where you're going to get those high moments and you're like, these kids are crazy. Mostly speaking about offensively, obviously. And then you're going to get the dip and the defensive lapses and you're like, holy shit, how are these kids playing together? And again, guys, not to make excuses, but the reality is Nemo is 21 years old. Luke is 22 years old. These guys are going to continue to improve for the next several years. But, we're now going kind of extreme highs and extreme lows when they're paired together. I don't know if they're looking at that as maybe a potential kind of dominant franchise D pair for going into the future. I think they could be. But right now, I don't know if it's the move. I think maybe they should consider splitting them up and putting each of them with a vet And now that Dillon, he came back for a little bit in the second and then didn't come out for the third. So if we're without Dilly now, it's like the curse continues, guys. And the reality is we are a very mediocre team with all these injuries. I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you that we're not. The hope is that we could somehow heal all these wounds and go into the playoffs somewhat near healthy. But, here we are. And now if Dillon's out, my God, if Dilly's out, I'll be hitting the bottle. Because if Dilly is out, the defense is just all-time decimated. Basically leaving us with Dougie and Siegs as our only vet defensemen, really, at the moment. And it's like, what are the pairings going to look like for next game? And they got to figure it out. Because now we've lost 2 in a row, both at the Rock, which, they're still great at home. Overall record, I believe, is now, 9-2-1? But quick turnaround against Dallas Wednesday and Vegas Friday, and then the back-to-back Saturday on the road against Boston. So this is now where that Olympic year condensed schedule is coming into play. And with the standings the way they are, they better get their shit together because you could slide real quick. You could slide from a top spot to out of the playoffs in the course of a bad week or so. That's how tight it is right now and how much points are at a premium. And so they got to figure it out. But tonight certainly was mostly discouraging, in my opinion. The only encouraging thing was that they did stick together. Great. But you stuck together and got your ass beat and lost the game. I could live with getting your ass beat, win the game. Or if you're going to lose the game, then win some fights. You got to get one of the two. You can't go over. We went over, but hopefully it's a learning experience. Prayers up for Dilly. Who knows what his diagnosis is going to be. And the curse continues, guys. That's all I can say. But thank you, Bobby. Brian, thank you for the super ace. I'm not talking about just tonight. He plays the most minutes every night. And yeah, I would rather see Cholo. He's not going to turn the puck over as much. Yeah, but you also have to understand these people have to be capable of playing those kind of minutes. They like what Luke brings. He's young, has a good gas tank, and that's why he's playing a lot of minutes. Because who's going to play the big minutes? They're not going to play. What did Cholowski play tonight? 17 minutes. Yeah, so how many minutes do you want to give Cholowski? And I understand you're not talking about tonight, but without Pesci, without Kovacevic, someone's going to have to play a lot of minutes. And then some nights he's getting power play time. Some nights he's getting PK time. Some nights he might get both. And so when you're looked at as kind of the next guy, you're going to get a lot of opportunity. And that's certainly the case for him. He was definitely out there for the PK tonight. I don't know if he saw any power play time or not. I can't remember. But yeah, he's a young, promising defenseman, and he's going to play a lot of minutes, man. It's just kind of what it is. All right, let's get back to these comments here. Timomeier says demoralizing, and it is interesting. Whoever is Timomeier, I do believe like a day or two after this name, I don't remember if this was someone else, if this is a new person, or this name was just edited. I don't know. I can't keep track of all you characters on here, but I feel like Timo went on a tear shortly after this Timomeier showed up. That Timo just started dominating. Just completely dominating after the screen name rolled up. Traveling Devil throwback hockey, absolutely. Tonight was definitely a throwback. Mario, we can't beat teams you should be beating. I'm all up for optimism, but it's gotten to the point where I don't expect anything good for a long while until they start winning consistently. And unfortunately, I don't know that you're going to see that without Jack Hughes and with all these other injuries. And again, this could be, and I hate to say it, I don't even want to say what I'm thinking, but I will. I kind of saw the season, like this season kind of flashed before my eyes when Dilly hit the ice. And I hope I'm wrong. But when I saw Dilly hit the ice like a sack of potatoes, I said, my God, our emotional, physical leader just got dropped like this in his 1,000th game, no less. And just kind of stunned the team. And I'm like, is this going to be what we look at as the turning point of like when the season went to hell. And I if I had to pick that kind of analogous moment or game from last season, it would probably be, I think it was December 28th. It was the home and home against Carolina. We beat them at home. Then we went to Carolina. We lost the game there. That's the one where I think Timo smashed Natchez, the Academy Award-winning performance for his dive, where he acted as if he was shot point blank with a shotgun. That game was kind of like when, I don't know, that one, that's probably the one moment and game if someone was like, where did the season kind of start to get away from them? For some reason, I would just say that probably. And I'm hoping that's not what tonight was, but it just seemed like the team was dejected. The crowd was dejected. And knowing the injuries we were already dealing with going into this game, I'm like, okay, well, if this guy's gone for any sort of time, you know, this is a massive hit to the D. And now does it all just fall apart? Because we've obviously been, you know, plugging holes in the boat with bubble gum and tape this whole season. And it's like, how many more can we withstand? Is Dilly going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back and just sinks this team? And I hope not. You know, he did come back for a little bit, to his credit. The guy's an absolute warrior. I'm sure they gave him a ton of tests in the locker room and were probably trying their best to tell him like that he shouldn't go back in. But you're not telling a guy like Dilly he's not going back in the game. What are you kidding me? Especially his 1,000th game. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall. I couldn't even imagine being one of the trainers or whoever the people are that are like, oh, you know, Dilly, like, we know you want to go, but like, you can't. Dilly was probably ready to choke slam people back there. There was no way you were keeping him in the locker room and off the ice to try to come back out and finish that game. To his credit, absolute legend. Love Dilly, but he deserved more on his special night. And this team right now does have, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and be like, I'm super optimistic about the team. Obviously, I'm optimistic about them when healthy, but, when close to full health. But that day, unfortunately, may never come. I'm now just trying to be real about it. The injury thing is crazy. I have no idea what the hell even happened to Dilly. Was it a head thing? I'd imagine it was. Maybe he went to concussion protocol and they do the thing and he passed it. I don't really know. Obviously, I hope he is, you know, healthy and fine and is able to play soon. But who knows? They're going to probably come out with their favorite week-to-week designation tomorrow, and we'll just all sit around and wait for the next update. It's really unfortunate. All right, I got to skip ahead here. We got sidetracked. Traveling says last goaltender to win back-to-back cups is 35 plus. Obviously talking about Bobrovsky. You're horrible. The way Ace is trying to stifle laugh saying Palat's second in the year. Listen, I like Pally. I just wish he didn't make the $6 million so you people would leave him alone, but it's never going to happen. Alex says Nemo is our highlight of the season. Love it. Anson says Nemo is a non-mover for me. 4Devil4 says, how long is Dillon going to be out for? A month or two? I hope not. But nothing would surprise me anymore. True Patriot, 129 in the room. Smash likes for Ace Fells. Thank you. Appreciate that. Hit the thumbs up for your boy. And hit the thumbs up for your Devils at least trying to engage in warfare tonight. The man from Jers 201, Ace, my wife and I had the honor of bumping into Ken Danico after the game. We even took a picture with him. What a humble guy and a lot chattier than I expected. Yeah, that's awesome. Anyone who doesn't know, I mean, Dano is the nicest man on the planet. They do not call him Mr. Devil for nothing. He has signed probably millions of autographs, taken millions of photos. Absolute legend. Kenny Danico is the New Jersey Devils. And a huge part, I've told the story a bunch of times, but basically the reason why I became a rabid Devils fan. 4Devil4 can't give up Luke because we would be running out of NHL caliber D-men. Yeah, obviously. Anyone talking about getting rid of Luke is just not even worth giving their comments any sort of oxygen or airtime. It's just so beyond insane that I'm not even going to waste other people's time with it. That winometer is damning. Yeah, it is. It really is. Tasha said, I think we deserve the win. Did we, though? up to a certain point, but then when you let a team roll on you in the third period like that, you don't deserve to win. You had to really come out flying in that third, and it was kind of the opposite. David, Dilly out equals 12-pack Dirty Devils. Yeah, if Dilly's out for an extended period of time, I hate to say it, that could really be like depends how long, but it would be a near fatality blow, in my opinion. I got to get back to the pool here. No one deserves to win. True Patriot, tough seeing Dilly hit the ice and wobble off. Yeah, it was sad. How Guide or Jeremy Proper, Luke's half-assery is getting old. He needs a seat in the press box. Not going to happen, but come on, Keith. If we weren't so banged up, I would say there's a 5% chance of it happening. With all the injuries to the defense, there's a 0% chance of it happening. Or sorry, not 0, 0.2% chance. A fifth of 1%, 0.2%. We lost because Dillon was not presented with the silver stick. They don't do it before the 1,000th game. They usually do it the next home game after it happens. And now who knows when that's going to be. But if he does play, if Dilly somehow plays on Wednesday, I would imagine he gets it then. Sinister, I'm not going to do him on Luke. I still think he will grow into the player we want, but seeing Nemitz taking this huge step, starting with pictures in the offseason, makes Luke's progression looking bad. I think that's a very fair point that you make there. I do think that's kind of fueling, aside from the $9 million, obviously, the holdout, obviously, you already know when someone holds out, you're now putting a bullseye on you. Then the fact that he signed for the $9 million, and then the fact that we're seeing him on the other team's highlight reel every other night lately is all just ammunition for the people to go after him. And now you have added on top of that Nemo is getting paid nothing and having a breakout season. So it's the perfect recipe, perfect storm, mixture of events for people to really go after Luke. And I think it's somewhat unfair, but to your point, I don't think that it is a coincidence that Nemo really, really went in deep this summer with the training. We saw the photos. We all talked about it. And everyone was like, look at how big this kid looks like he got, really, really getting it in the gym. And it's all coming together for him on the ice this season. I mean, no one could say with a straight face that they foresaw the outbreak. A lot of people may have been like, oh, I think Nemo's going to have a good year or maybe a career year, which is not saying much. He's super young, or a breakout year. But you couldn't possibly predict the Hollywood script type season he's having right now, with a hat trick in overtime, another overtime winner, a shootout winner to end the game, the late game time goal against the Islanders, like scoring in big clutch moments. You couldn't have written it any better. And so I do think the combination of that and all the other things is what's making Luke not look great right now. And I totally get it. But that doesn't mean that Luke's a bust and his contract is terrible or none of those things. It means nothing more than just that Luke is struggling right now defensively or overall, however you want to slice it. Smash the thumbs up. Thank you. Larry, last week I left a comment they should have called up Hallinan because the December games are going to be chippy. Yeah, I'm all for whoever's willing to engage in the wars, because we are going to need warriors. And as we get into the playoff drive, it's, there's no more, Mr. Nice Guy games. You got to go out there and smash people and take it. Devil Dog, what exactly is this huge step Nemitz has taken? Relax people? That's not a real comment, is it? That can't be a real comment, Devil Dog. What is the huge step? The huge step is, hold on, bear with me. The kid has a hat trick. an overtime hat trick, another overtime game winner, a shootout game winner. Yeah, and has one more. He has 15 points to Luke's 14. Natasha, why no ceremony for Dilly? I was so excited. I thought they'd do something like Petrie had something his kids were on the ice. Probably before the next game. Mario, Nemo is younger than him, Mason. He's getting better and has consistently good performances, which is Luke's problem, consistently playing well. Nemo, listen, Nemo's, gotten a little exposed on some plays the last couple of games too. Let's not all pretend that it's all just, nothing but dominant performances for Nemo. He's been exposed defensively a bunch of times recently. But again, I'm not worrying because it's what you get. It is part of the process of watching young blossoming defensemen. It's all part of it. And it sucks when it happens. But some of you act as if these guys are never going to make mistakes. Like, I don't know what planet you come from. Timomeier, the next 3 games are going to be brutal. Anson, I feel like some of these kids aren't getting in the weight room and doing proper work. Probably. Cody Skills, honestly, after the Dillon fight, momentum, that's supposed to say, went to Columbus. It's like playing NHL 26 and losing a lot of fights, then you're out of the game. Yeah. Momentum is very real. Momentum swings, energy, a lot of it, the tides of games change with stuff like that. And I firmly believe when Dillon went down, I felt it in the moment. I was like, oh, that's going to be a problem. And I think it was. Yo, Holmes says Luke Hughes missing camp matters. Definitely didn't help any. But, we're talking about things we're so far removed from that. I don't know if he's still feeling the effects of that, but definitely, early on in the season. But that's why these contract negotiations that drag on and stuff, it's never good for anybody. True Patriot, no Covey, no Pesci. We have no choice but to roll with Luke and Nemo. Going to have off nights, 22 and 21 years old. Number 4 and number 2 picks in the draft. Going to be fine. We need to get through this month. Not Tasha. I'm with you, Ace. The thing is, people want Luke benched, but Keefe doesn't have any other options. Yeah, I just don't think this is the time where you try to send a message by scratching someone. Dire Wolf, Ace, when you want to know why we criticize the medical staff, tonight is the answer. Putting Dilly out there after that fight was insane, stupid, and dangerous. Whoever cleared him should be fired. Okay, so this is where, number one, people criticize the medical staff for guys that block shots breaking bones. Like, so let's be serious. These are nowhere near comparable or analogous situations. Blaming the medical staff for every injury the Devils ever get and the instance you're talking about right now couldn't be further apart. Completely, totally different options, not even remotely in the same stratosphere. Now, to get to this point that you said of putting Dilly out there after that fight was insane, stupid, and dangerous. Okay, so this is what I'm going to tell you. There is whatever the protocol is in place for concussions. There's probably a thing with his eyes and whatever else. They're not going to put him out there unless he passed those things. So I promise you he passed them in the locker room. And knowing Brenden Dillon, he was not going to be denied. If he says, give me the test, they do whatever they do with the finger, the light, whatever it is, and he passes, you are not stopping that man from returning to his 1,000th NHL game. You absolutely are not. And so for you to suggest on your computer that whoever put him out there is insane, stupid, and dangerous and should be fired is a reckless statement by you. Completely reckless, because I promise you, he passed whatever he had to pass to get out there and told everybody, get out of my way. I'm going back to the game. That's it. You can't blame medical trainers for everything as much as you people want to try. World's Worst Gamer says, let us get to the 26-27 season already. Come on, man. That's ridiculous. Dave said, Ace, how do you go to every home game? I don't go to every home game. I've been to a lot this year, and I don't know if the trend will continue or not, but it's funny. I mentioned to one of my buddies today, another big Devils fan, I mentioned that I'm technically on pace right now to obliterate my single season attendance record. I don't know if it will hold up or not, if the rate will continue at this pace, but I think tonight was I think I've only missed 2 home games actually out of 12. So I guess tonight was my 10th, I think. All right, we got to skip ahead here. World's Worst Gamer, you want to see Dillon's 1,000th game? Why? It's not like he was a lifelong Devils player. I mean, he doesn't have to be, though. I wanted him. He was on my list of defensemen I wanted coming into that free agency summer, a guy that I was hoping to get. And how could you not love Dilly? Obviously, he didn't play his whole career here, but I certainly respect lots of other players around the league, even today, that we've watched for years and years. And he's been a fiery competitor for years and years, and that's why I wanted the Devils to get him. I like guys like him. They're kind of an endangered species. And if you haven't seen it, check out the on the Devils YouTube channel, Amanda Stein, and I guess there's a couple other people there. There was a little interview thing with Dilly from the locker room earlier this afternoon. And how could you not love Dilly? This guy is he's an incredible dude. And that's why it sucked even more when he went down, on his special night. But check out that video on the Devils channel if you haven't seen it. Him kind of talking about, his beginnings and stuff. They were, asking him about different things pertaining to his 1,000th game. So, check that out. It's a good video. All right, we're time warping here. How I Get Her Jeremy Proper says, if we could get another Timo guy for Brett, I'm finally all in. Let him get his 50, 60 assists elsewhere. We need a bully scorer. I've maintained for a long time. When people hate on Timo, I said, not only is Timo one of my favorite players because of the style he plays, I want 2 more guys like him. Get me guys that could just get under the opponent's skin, smash people, get to the net. And Timo I'll say it till I'm blue in the face, Timo should be on power play 1 for the rest of his Devils career. Roaming in the circle, looking to court to just wind up and let the ripper go, or he's been doing damage down low. Down low in the crease, he could dig for pucks, finish in tight, and really just play that bully brand of hockey. I would love another 1 or 2, even poor man versions of Timomeier, because that is what you need to win in the playoffs, period. Warriors. Jay Snow says, unfortunately, the Devils are not a hard team to play against. I completely agree. It really sucks. Yo, Holmes says, Sieg's booted via the Bob Probert rule. Oh, because is that what he technically got thrown out for? Because his jersey wasn't tied down? That's what it was, right? But what are they? Is that an unsportsmanlike? What is that? Yeah, stupid rule. It is what it is. Hi, Goddard, Jeremy Proper. How about that no call on Severson stealing Nemo's stick and no call? I mean, I feel like the officiating has been awful for every team, but it seems like the Devils get kind of the short end of the stick a lot more than other teams, but who knows? That could just be bias coming into play. But the fact that, and then I saw multiple videos the other night, the ref was literally watching Luke Hughes eat a high stick and somehow missed it. Chase, no, teams are all going to come in and try to muck it up against the Devils. I mean, if I was an opposing team, that's exactly what I would try to do. I mean, the tape and the video is there. Like, this is an effective way to play the Devils. John Fay, well, lads, welcome to the Devils' worst month of the season, the month of December. Oh, no. Jason, no, I'm afraid we're going to be the Leafs. A lot of talent, but not enough grit. I mean, it's a fair, somewhat of a fair concern. I mean, even if you're just talking about in terms of a core group that had several chances to make a run and just could never put it together. I do think, and again, it's why my video came out a couple months ago about the Last Dance. I think depending on how the season ends, there's going to be a lot of chatter from a lot of different places, and I do think you may finally see some sort of real change. Now, I would love to see it not get to that, and this team just find a way to go on a deep run and do some damage. But if that does not happen, there certainly is going to be lots of rumors, lots of speculation, and we'll see. Mace, why the hell is everyone obsessed with a 22-year-old? I understand he's not playing well, but there are a plethora of other players not cutting it right now. Because, my friend, these people have made it their mission to just attack certain guys, and Luke Hughes is kind of the newest one, even though there's been some people that have attacked him regularly even before the contract. But, they have narratives that will never stop. So every time, he's out of position or makes a terrible play or misses a play, it's the same old thing all over again. Luke is terrible. We should have never signed him. Trade him and his brother. There's like juvenile stuff that, that's going to happen every other game, every couple games. Ford Devil Force says Dillon is out. You can almost pencil it in now. I certainly hope not. All right, I got to go on warp speed here. Sorry, folks. I got too far behind. Natasha, here's a super tough guy, the toughest guy in the National called Curtis McDermott. Maybe we should get him. Yeah, nights like tonight, you wish you had a Curtis McDermott. Wish you had a Curtis McDermott tonight. SST with more propaganda. He says Fitz guaranteed Lamico playing time when he signed him. That was the condition. You come up with a thing that Fitz promised or Fitz guaranteed all these things to people with no proof of it whatsoever. And like, even if that was the there's no enforceable unless it's in these people's contracts. Like, I don't think anyone's saying, "Oh, you're guaranteed playing time." Like that's a ridiculous kind of conspiracy theory that you have amongst many other conspiracy theories. Traveling says, I bet fighting is over from this game out. I wouldn't be surprised, just like last December. Michael says Siegs is pathetic. Yeah, that was a pretty sad performance or lack thereof. I mean, he couldn't have looked more disinterested in that fight. Like, buddy, sometimes you got to fight. Devil Dog says, Ace, tomorrow's the 1-year anniversary of the Jack Hughes Valaket Instagram hockey game at MSG. Good times. Is it? I would have guessed it was longer than that. Yeah, okay, it was 2024. Alex said, should I get the red or white Tage Thompson Devils jersey? If only that was reality, man. It would be what a great thing that would be if that was real, but I can't see it. But if it is, I would say get a red. David says, Keefe said Dilly was cleared by doctors that wanted to be safe in the third period. Yeah, exactly. Like, for the people saying whoever let him out there should be fired, like, okay. You don't think these people are super paranoid about, liability and protocol and all that stuff? Like, come on. They're not going to be like, oh, yeah, go ahead, Brenden. You feel good? Go back out there. Go back out there. Give it a whirl. Maybe you guys could fight again. Jason, no, since the end of October, the Devils have given up the most high danger chances in the league. Oh, boy, that's a discouraging stat. SST said this chat has tonight already broken the record of most messages here. I don't know about that, but there's certainly a lot of them. Michael says Siegs is afraid to fight. Pretty pathetic to have a guy pounding on you and not fight back. Completely agree. Even for guys that are not fighters, I have some buddies that I wouldn't say were fighters, but if they were attacked, they're certainly fighting back. They're like, I'm not looking to get into a fight, but if, I am forced into one, I don't have a choice. And I guess Siegs thought he didn't have a choice either until he finally decided to respond in some way. But wow. Kane the Great, I was at the game and behind the net when Dilly caught a nasty uppercut and fell face first in the ice with his jersey over his head. He definitely got knocked out. My stomach sank. Yeah, it was terrible. I felt very, very uneasy. Tasha says there can't be a Christmas break curse again if we aren't good enough beforehand. Oh, man. Brian says, got to live with Luke's mistakes. Completely agree. As he said, Akira is going to goalie us this week. Oh, no. I love Dano. Trashing on Dano will not stand. You aren't a Devils fan if you don't like Dano. Yeah, I don't know how you could be a Devils fan and not like Dano. Alex, I hope we play Akira. The storyline is going to be crazy however it goes. Franchise legend. Franchise legend. My buddy Goody. Voronkov and Fantilli fights with some sucker shit on their part. 100%. And Sheldon Keefe, actually, I forgot this part. Thank you for reminding me. Sheldon Keefe called it out in his post-game press conference. Basically said, like, Dilly's one of the most honorable guys in the league and that he would have never done that to someone else, which I completely agree. I think he would wait till the guy was set or whatever. Like, I don't think he's trying to kind of jump somebody, catch him by surprise and sucker him like he got done. And then Fantilli kind of did the same thing. I mean, it is unfortunate, but some people are weasel scumbags and have no kind of standards when it comes to this sort of stuff, which needs to be addressed in the rest of this game. Also, Luke is annoying, but the haters are morons. I think that's a very good. I think I'm right there with you, my buddy. Good. I think it sums it up perfectly. Luke is annoying, but the haters are morons. I think that's pretty good. Unhinged Dev saying, I'm 20 minutes behind in here. Oh, man, Ace down on the team, too. I'm out of here. No, I mean, I'm down on the thing, but I'm not I'm from the game, but I'm not like, oh, the team is cooked and all these things that these people are doing. We just have to tread water. We're a very different team without Jack and Pesci and now potentially Dilly for, hopefully not Dilly. But, Jack and Pesci are two big pieces. So I'm just hoping we could be average without them and then be much better with them. I don't care how much of a warrior Dilly is. Letting him go back out there was dumb. Repeated head hits are life-altering and career-ending. He definitely... Do you understand that he passed whatever tests they have to pass? Do you comprehend that? You can't just be like, oh, you hit your head. You could never play again. There's tests they have to do. He did them in the locker room and clearly passed. And Sheldon Keefe said that after the game as well. Good thing I have tickets. Yeah, I think that's when you'll see. Well, again, if hopefully Dilly plays, there should be a little ceremony of some kind before that one, I think. Nemitz was a -4 the other game. Yeah. Yeah, they both have been exposed plenty of times recently. Again, it's going to happen with young guys in this league. Yo, Holmes, USA Hockey is a fine program. So is NCAA hockey, but it's kids playing against kids. NHL is the man's league. Completely agree. Anson asking Santa for the following: ship out Dougie and Palat for cap space, bring top six winger, heal RD and Jack, and snag Quinn down the line. It's a decent list. I don't know how much of that you're going to get. But it's nice to have youthful optimism. Richard, these kids, and they are kids, are logging a lot of minutes. Are mistakes being made? Yes. However, these minutes for Luke and Nemo will pay dividends further into the season. Now, these people want to see, perfect defense from right now going forward. Mistake-free, just flawless defense. That's what they want from right now until eternity. World's Worst Gamer 4-5 since the Jack injury. My prediction of 6-13 or similar in 19 games can still happen. Oh boy. Jonathan Decker says the medical staff would have been in danger if they tried to prevent Dilly from getting back on the ice. Yeah, exactly. People just don't understand how this all works. Like, there's tests. He took them. He passed. And then he said, get the out of my way. I'm going back into the game. I mean, what planet do people live on where Dillon's not going back in the game after he passes the tests? World's Worst Gamer, if we were out of it by NHL trade deadline, I want to see both goalies gone, plus Palat, and on and on and on. First of all, I mean, I can't fathom that. If we were out at the deadline, I would be sick to my stomach. Tropical Flamingo, Crosby up to 18 goals. In another note, just incredible. And Flyers got smoked. Like that a lot. Scumadelphia. Sid is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Are we ever getting a full season of Jack? Probably not. Chase, no, this is the problem when you don't have a guy or guys that teams are worried about getting run all game. Oh, that's why your boy loved McDermott. I do wish he could play a little more better than he did. And I think a guy like McEwen maybe could, be that very serviceable fourth line guy who'll chuck fists. But that's why I liked McDermott so much, as you all know, because that is a deterrent. A guy like McDermott, or in a night like tonight where things do go down, you make him fight the same guy several times or let him go beat up 3 different people. But either way, a game like tonight, guys like Curtis McDermott show their true value. Yo, Holmes, Dilly crying pregame was all-time real deal shit. Yeah, it was. It really was. What a guy. Just wanted to play one game in the league. World's worst gamer. I don't care about Dillon. What has he done for us? I don't care about so many of these players. Wow, man. This might be one of the most disrespectful things I've ever seen in here. What has Dillon ever done for you? Sacrifice his body, hit guys, block shots, lead these young kids into battle every night. Try to show them how to be a pro, show them how to get better. I mean, he's been a veteran leader on this group now since he's gotten here. I don't know what people are nuts. What has Dillon ever done? What has anyone here ever done? Tage Thompson fits the bill for players that are like Timomeier, of course. But I don't think they're realistically going to trade him. And if they are, I don't think Fitz has the stomach to give up the package it would take to get him. It would be a ton of pieces. You're dreaming too, Alex Russo. Tage Thompson for Brad and Casey. You wish that was realistic. Nowhere near realistic. Some of you people need to, I will say, and it's not to like talk smack, but I routinely, and it's everywhere on the internet, not just here, I routinely see some of the worst trade proposals that are so unrealistic, like this one. Tage Thompson for Brad and Casey. Buffalo laughs you off the phone and then hangs up if you offer Brad and Casey for Tage Thompson. Not even in the stratosphere of realistic. True Patriot Cotter said next game with them is circled on the calendar. Yeah, I don't know that we needed him to really tell us that, but one of those kind of, I think, obvious things. Let me just take a look-see here. Yeah, December 31st, New Year's Eve in Columbus. Dude, that's brutal, too. Back-to-back 30th. Tuesday the 30th at Toronto, and then the 31st against the Jackets in Ohio. Jason Fitz focused one offseason on heavier, edgier, more violent, and abandon it. Oh, I don't think I don't know. I feel like the team was so in need of that even getting the guys he did that summer that he thought it was sufficient. It still was nowhere near efficient, and it's showing in real time on a night like tonight. We definitely need several more guys that are capable of engaging in war. Mario, this loss tired me. Good night. See you. Take care. There's no chance, Alex. You're hallucinating. Him and Casey or Bratt in the first? No. Not even close. Gleason, they lost the game because they didn't score more goals than the other team. Has nothing to do with grit or fighting or anything. The team at full strength has at least a normal amount of grit. I couldn't disagree with you more, Gleason. Obviously, they didn't score more goals than the other team, but I do believe they were demoralized when Dilly got flatlined. Nolan, I hope you're wrong about those rumors, Ace. I truly hope the bros wake up, sharpen their game, play hockey, and have a great time. No way this team falls apart like this without Jack. Just crazy stuff. Yeah, thanks, Faye. I mean, I can't win, bro. I started off in real time. Someone said that last time, so I started doing that. I don't even read any past comments. I kind of start at the time I'm done talking. That's kind of when I start. But I still fall behind because there's a million comments. And, I try to read as many of them as I can here and talk about some of these points. Civil War in the chat. Larry, real change has to start with the GM. Fitzy built this team with little to no grit. The big holes in the roster can't be filled because of the dead weight of Hamilton and Palat's contracts. I do think Dougie will be gone soon-ish. Summer at the latest. Nolan, just saw this Shimo Nemeth stat that he played the longest shift in the NHL. Where did you see that? Provost says Brady is staying in Ottawa. I think so. I'm trying to catch up some more. Faces Schmid's going to have a shutout against us. Devil Dog, we pick in the top 10 in the draft, but at like 5 through 10, like Columbus and Phoenix, Arizona, Utah, and then select less impact players all the time. David Ace, you always want suggestions. How about after every live stream, we pick one person who gave the best comment? I guess the best comment from the stream. That's an interesting one. Comment of the stream. Suk says treading water just became impossible if Dillon is out at all. I mean, it certainly makes a difficult job even more difficult. Direwolf A, should Korea have been let back after Stevens clocked him? This is settled science. Repeated head hits in a short period of time is very dangerous. I don't think you could compare the Stevens thing to Dilly. Korea went off on a stretcher, bro. Dilly was assisted off the ice. Totally different. Snow Devil, my man Ace, was great meeting you tonight. Just got back. I had to make it out for Dilly's 1,000th game. Love to have your edge and more violent from the guys, but what a disappointing night. Hope Dilly's okay. Yeah, great meeting you, man. Hopefully you got some of that dessert. The dessert was pretty good. The game, not so much. They gave us the tease. Another tease. There was another tease, Snow Devil, that a comeback that we were taunted with was not in the cards, and hopefully they find a way to win the next one, because losing 3 in a row on home ice would be a new low point in my opinion. For sure. But great meeting you, my man. True Patriot, both playing over 25 minutes a night. Potential for -3s and 4s are going to happen. Yeah. No shit. But these people don't care, True Patriot. They want perfection. They don't want these guys to ever be on the ice for a goal against. They can never make a bad decision with the puck. Everything should be just perfection from start to finish. Natasha, the Dilly chant when he came back out was really nice. Yes, it was. I'm trying to catch up here. Were there boos at the end of the game? I ran out with like 10 seconds left. There probably wasn't, if I had to guess. Our good old friend Tyler Toffoli on Hattie Watch, huh? Oh, man. How much time is left in that one? Tyler Toffoli with 2. Oh, he's got a period and some change. Can Toffoli get? His first goal was a 6, so he's got 7. Will Smith is also on Hattie Watch. Oh my God, Toffoli's having an outing tonight. He's got 2 goals and 2 assists. Sheesh. Toffoli working on a 4-point night right now. Good for him. I always like Toffoli. Toffoli with a 4-point night through not even 2 periods gone. Steve Sauce, this is the peak of adversity that measures a team and a fan base during a season. My attempt at a measured take. Well, congratulations to be one of the few people in here who's not psychotic, Steve Sauce. These people, after every game, it's the same stuff, and it's just like painful to deal with. You know, the calendar just turned to December, and people have proclaimed the season over for at least 3 weeks already after bad losses. World's Worst Gamer, New Jersey What Ifs. That should be the name of this team for this era. What if Jack was healthy? Ooh. John Fay said, whoa, we don't take Dillon slander in this chat. Definitely not. Gleason says, redirect all Dillon slander to Ace making excuses for the young D-men who don't even try to improve at defense. How do you know what they're doing? You don't know. You're sitting here with your keyboard warrior fingers typing complete nonsense. Do you think they want to be on the ice for goals against? Do you think they want to be in the film room and be looking at the screen and be caught out of position and they're looking and be like, oh, what happened here? Are you pinched or whatever? And you think they like those film sessions? When they're getting called out for bad positioning or bad decision making, you think they like that? You don't think they want to get better? I mean, come on, man. It's just crazy now. 4-point night for Toffoli. Kane, long ride home from the game, about 3 hours. Wow. So glad to have you show up for the ride back, Ace. Hope to meet you on the next one. Man, 3 hours. It's dedication. Dedication. World's Worst Gamer, Cotter creates and gets chances but can't finish. Looks like the 4th rounder he is. Needs to be laying people out more for me to like him more. Okay. Where's Jim McKenzie when you need him? One of the toughest to ever do it. David says, after every loss, everyone is just like, trade for Quinn, trade for Ryan O'Reilly, trade for Thompson. Let's be real. Fitz doesn't make any moves before the new year. I probably agree with that too. Suk, running, we're just tired of seeing the same old trends that this team constantly follows. We all know where the season is going with the injuries, and Fitz probably doing nothing. We're tired and fed up. Okay, but complaining after every game is not going to do anything. I mean, if that's what you feel, then fine. But I still have to root for the team and hope for the best. Are we going to put in any effort to get Salayev over here before he dies on the KHL vine? I think he's so young. I don't think he could die on the vine. I think he's free to leave there after this season, and so he'll most likely be in Utica next year, I'd imagine. Pohadios. I'm concerned by how many games the guys need to score 5, 6, or even 7 goals to win. The goaltending really needs to tighten up. Yeah, but the defense does too. I mean, the defense has been bleeding chances. Obviously, you want your goaltending to be as sharp as possible, but we have given up way, way, way too many high quality chances in many games this year. And goalies, could only stop so much. Now, would I like to see the goalies play better? Yeah, for sure. But the defense has been just non-existent in a lot of these games, and you're going to see some brutal nights. So SJ says every team is catching up to the Devils. They have a back-to-back against the Rangers, then they play us. The Stars. Oof. Ottinger, huh? We'll see. We'll see who's in net. Steve, Ace is a victim of his own success. Poor guy has no chance of keep. I'm trying. It's more of I'm a victim of doomers dooming hard. Hard dooming. World's worst. To speak of positives, I don't do much. Jake Allen has had a real nice season for the most part. Love it. Also, he sure did step up offensively. Whew. Say that 10 times fast. Step up offensively. When Jack went down, like that too. David S. Ace, is it me or do you think Dougie knows the writings on the wall? He just skates around leisurely out there and rarely takes a good shot like he cares. You know what? It's funny. I don't know if that's true or not, but I thought about that a couple days ago. I was like, is he just checked out now and just like counting down the days till he gets dealt? But I don't know. He could still be hurt too. I mean, he's been nicked up a few times. Like, I don't know. Statistically, there's probably at least 2 or 3 guys minimum playing through some sort of nagging injury, I would imagine, if not more. And maybe he is, or maybe he's just kind of mentally checked out. We don't know. I just read this comment, but I didn't have it up on the screen. SST said, I just looked it up, and apparently 2 longest shifts in the NHL history belong to Jack and Nemitz. I know Jack didn't he have like a 5-minute one last year towards the end of a game? Was that the end of a game? Face the Sharks to the cup. I'm calling it now. Sinister says Toffoli being a mentor to Smith and Celebrini is a massive reason they are blossoming. I could see that. Yeah, you always want your kids to have good veterans to learn from, a guy like Toffoli for sure. And that's probably why they wanted to trade for him. And he could still play. Prezify, thank you for the super. On the bright side, I don't think I would have been able to bench press 455 with a pause off my chest if we won. The loss pissed me off. Oh, man, you did that after the game? Good for you, man. 455, that's insane. A 455 bench press fueled by New Jersey Devils losing hockey. Thank you for the super. And hopefully, though, you could get just as fired up for wins. And then maybe next time do 465. Oh, boy, let's see. Joe Holmes says kids on the minus report because that's all we got, bro. It's true. Like people are like, yeah, bench them. Like, yeah, bench them. Then who are we playing? Guys that you don't even know their names. Some of you won't even know. SJ Devils should play old school Devils hockey. Would help the goalies a ton, but they want to run and gun. I'm always a fan of clamping down in low scoring affairs. We trade Timo for Brady Tkachuk. That Ottawa would laugh in your face. Potatoes. Okay, potatoes. Yeah, I'm not sure I like the name change, like whatever YouTube did. They changed the like the way that showed. T Anon. Damn, all these Luke Doomers not realizing the D is super young while the vets are all getting healed up. Knuckle dragging Neanderthals whose highlight reels are on Ace's show. Let's go Devils. Oh, man. Jason says it reminded me of 2 years ago with all the defensive breakdowns. There were some ugly ones, for sure. Tropical Flamingo. Brett Pesci cannot come back fast enough. We need that, man. Yeah, we really do. We really do. And hopefully Dilly doesn't miss more than a game or two if he misses any time. When is the red light episode? Next game? Is it time? No. They're not planned. They just happen. SJ says Nason doesn't look the same. I hope he is still recovering. It could be the case. Would be nice to see him kind of pick it up a little bit offensively. But there is a chance, we've talked about this, there is a chance that he never quite, regains the level of play that he had before he was hurt. And that production, he was getting a lot of power play. One time was the net front guy, getting some tips, some garbage goals. And he'll get some time here and there again as well, but a lot of competition for power play time now for sure. Potatoes. I mean, this loss sucked, but we were still treading water while so many people are out. Once we are back, we are back. I hope so. David says, Ace, do you ever get tired of reading the same comments? It's exhausting, bro. It is exhausting. Absolutely exhausting. Imagine Jack and Pesci come back the same night. No, I can't. I think Pesci will be back way before him. Amagi, my picture with Marty before he vanished into the night and him leaving me hanging when I asked for a fist bump was the highlight of this game. Did he hear you? It's a great picture, by the way. Do you think we should call up Dawes just so Alan and Mark can take a break? I would like to use him, but I forget now with the waiver stuff. Like, he's only eligible to be here for a certain amount of time. I mean, I think we're going to lose him anyway. So at this point, you might as well get a couple starts out of him to rest some of these guys if they need it. But I don't know. All that fighting frenzy was stupid from our side. Teams fight to turn things around. We were leading by 2. Why fight? Because you can't back down in a spot like how the first one happened. And then once Dilly got dropped like that, you can't let that go either. So, you know, easier said than done, but teams have been trying us too often. You can't get punked out like that. Got to respond. Tropical Ace, have you heard anything on Dodonov? We just got this guy, and he already had 2 separate injury stints. As far as I'm concerned, he's a depth forward who's not going to be an everyday player. I just can't see it. I just can't see it. In my head, he's not an everyday player. It was an experiment that didn't really pan out. Suk, the truth behind this team radiates throughout the comment section. Real ones can see the waves that are being broadcast. I'm not exactly sure what that means. Faye, Ace finally caught up. I'm surprised. He's gotten a few, I believe. I held out my hand for the fist bump after the pick, and he kind of just gave me a look like... Snow Devil, the Dilly interview with Amanda earlier just shows you what a humble guy he is. I honestly think he should be an alternate captain. Love that the team all wore his jersey for warm-ups. Yeah, it was pretty cool to see that. With the 1K on the sleeve. Ethan, I want to see a goalie fight so bad. I hate Elvis Merzlikins. He's just a big crybaby, and it's good. Yeah, when they lost, the Jackets lost the game a couple weeks ago on the island to the Islanders, and he was like crying on the bench afterwards. It was crazy. Snow Devil, happy Timo got his goal after they called back the first one. Yeah, that was great to see. Whoever expected a Cody Glass fight, he didn't get a fighting major for that, which I didn't realize. Maybe his gloves did not come off. They got roughing. They're like, you clowns wish you had a fight. That was just a little rough and tumble roughing incident. 2 minutes only. Do you think we start playing a 7th defenseman? No, I don't think so. I don't think we can. Now we need another big goon again. Pajados, I think once Pesci and Covey are back, Hamilton is going to be the odd man out. He's even getting less power play time now since Nemitz has been so good writing on the wall. Yeah, I just think to free up a spot on the right side of the defense and free up $9 million, it'll just be too tempting for Fitz not to do it. That's why I think, it is on, when you look at everything, it's the most logical move to make. It's still going to kill me, and I would prefer to figure another way to make this shit all work. But in the end, I don't see how there is. It just seems like all signs point to he's going to be the guy, but we'll see. We should have a goon always just stashed. Yeah, it would be nice. I never stop saying it like it is. I'll do my best to help people see this franchise for what it is. Only then it can be fixed. There's nothing any of these people. Nothing is going to change anything. The fact that people think any of this makes a difference is cute. Yeah. Nemo was power play from 1. Great to see that. Dillon has had the A before. Belongs to party time a lot. Otherwise, yeah, Dilly, I think, definitely wore it in the preseason, maybe, or games when someone was injured. Kane the Great. The smash burgers at Prudential not as good as last year. Said. I agree. SJ, is Pesci back this month? Probably not. I think late in the month is a possibility. I think that's a possibility. Unhinged. People are nuts. How can you do them on Dano and Dillon? What kind of person goes into Devils chat hours after a game and says that? I know, right? That's I can't connect it either. I thought those would be two guys that are like unanimously, that no one has an ill word to say about. Especially if you're here, right? Like if you're in a Devils, you're a pretty big fan. I'd imagine for the most part, if you're actively participating in Devils YouTube post-game shows. But to hate on Dilly or Dano is crazy work to me. TJK, Dougie's offense is drying up and he is getting worse defensively. He is slow and lazy. That play against Philly was lazy and horrendous. I mean, all right. So what should we do? Public execution, stone, public hanging in Times Square, death by stoning. What do you think? Fajados, I don't understand the fan base and their dislike of Dillon, while at the same time complaining the team is soft. Yeah, ship out the toughest dude. Well, I think the majority of the fan base sees Dilly for exactly what he is, the warrior legend, and loves him. I think it's just a very, very small percentage of nonsensical folks who would say anything bad about him. Now, there's other guys that I think have a high percentage of haters, but Dilly's definitely very low. That was just one lost soul that found their way into this chat room. Suk says, when fans almost single-handedly brought Timomeier here, that's when I knew I could make a difference. He was a fan acquisition. How do you believe he was? Tell me how he was a fan acquisition. Kane the Great, win or lose, give Ace the views. I like that. Win or lose, give Ace the views. Smash the like. Thanks, Kane. That's a pretty funny one. Oh, man. Justin says we need the 90s Devils back. SJ, yeah, dooming at an all-time high. It's crazy. I can't wait to just go in my bed and I'm gonna watch all the stuff tomorrow. After this, I'm like, I'm hot. I'm Devils fried right now. I can't do any more. I think after this, I'm gonna go watch like, I don't know, a show or something not Devils related. I typically would watch all the clips and the interviews and stuff, but like I can't do it on a night like tonight. Ethan, I wonder if the Devils will face Hart. Oh, yeah, Carter Hart. when we play Vegas, I can't imagine what people behind him will say. I think that all that stuff is nonsense. Like, people just need to move on with their lives. And, I just think society as a whole likes to try to drag people down nonstop. This chat is kind of an everyday proof of that. Nolan, I think people are just looking for someone to blame for tonight, and Dano and Dilly are getting caught in the crossfire. Man. Fan acquisition said no serious person ever. What's my level of concern with this team? Are you talking with or without Jack Hughes? Two very different teams. Without Jack Hughes, slightly above moderately concerned. With Jack Hughes, I would say a little concerned. But some of the stuff Jack's not going to fix either. If you're talking about, like, do you mean specifically, or I guess I posed it, Jack or not? Healthy, I guess. When healthy, I have little concern and think they're pretty damn good. Without Jack and Pesci and not at near full health, I think you're going to get kind of a crapshoot where you're going to get some great games that they're going to win, and you're going to see some games where you're like, what happened to this team? I think it's just going to be more of what I would call the consistently inconsistent New Jersey Devils while banged up. Paha, Ace, have you ever had a thought that Hughes brothers simply are not cup-winning material, too fragile maybe? No. Because every single team that wins the cup has a balance of, you have depth guys that are nothing more than just grit grinders, guys that will smash you into the ice, do whatever it takes to win, the depth warrior guys. Then you have the super elite skill guys. Then you have the guys that might be a little scritty, where it's like they could score a bit, they could hit a bit, they might fight, but they have a little bit of everything. You have to have a good balance of everything on your roster. And so, I'm not going to sit here and try to convince you that the Hughes brothers are these physical specimens that are going to will teams to multiple championships or whatever you want to call it. But there is nothing precluding them from winning a Stanley Cup. Do I think they could do it on their own? No, I don't think any great players really do it on their own. It is a team sport in the truest sense of the word, in my opinion. And I do believe that they both could be significant pieces of a cup winning team. I can't answer your question any more direct than that. I think they could be cup winning material. They need to be surrounded by the right complementary players, as do the rest of this core. And that's what I've been saying for a couple of years. I do like our core. Bring in the right complementary pieces, and I don't think it's happened yet. It is what it is. But a smooth. We're sixth in the standings to the league. Would love to hear Ace's and anyone else's take on whether that's climbable based on the past. I'm still relatively new getting back in. The Devils are probably going to, they're without Jack Hughes, they probably won't finish that high, if I'm being real. Whoever blames Dano should be banned. I'm not going to ban someone for that. Ethan, if I was Vegas, I would start Akira Schmid because then they will win. Oof. Man, that would be crazy if Schmid comes in. He's the latest goalie to have a career outing against the Devils. Why is Dano catching strays? Potatoes fan acquisition sounds like a bunch of Goombas grabbed Timo walking out of the man purse store. Should have kidnapped him a long time ago. Oh boy. Suk, you can't win games in plot of scoring one of your 3 goals and players that should be scoring disappear. Gleason, okay, I will jazz the chat. Timomeier was great tonight. I thought Timo was decent, was pretty good tonight. Timo's been pretty good for the past couple of weeks. We are screwed until Pesci is back. Ace runs a great show over here. Compliment sandwich. Well, thank you, if you mean that. But everyone's entitled to their opinions, even if I disagree. My only rule is just don't be, you know what? World's Worst Gamer. Go watch the Eastern Conference Finals from 87-88 and see what Dano did before you damn. You're talking about hating on a franchise legend for a play that he made 40 years ago. I mean, wow. Snow Devil dooming not an all-time high. It was at the high after he won 8 straight and people couldn't handle it after we lost like 2 games. You know, Kane says we need a Doomers versus fans boxing match. Set it up. I really do want to have the social media beef boxing league. Yeah, it doesn't have to be. It could be beef derived from anywhere. Obviously, most of it would probably start on X, but I would love to have the gym location with the boxing ring, have real refs and everything. And then live stream people that got in beefs online, live stream them duking it out in the ring. It'd be phenomenal. Jason, no, even with Jack and Pesci, they need to add to this lineup. 1,000% agree. 1,000% agree. It's still not enough, but it's a lot better than what we've been seeing lately. Jason, when is Fitz going to put his chips in the middle? I don't know. If it's not this year, I mean, when, right? I mean, the window's wide open. These guys are not getting any younger, and careers go by quick. It happens oh so fast. Everyone's like, oh, the Devils are young. They're like, they're not that young anymore. Guys are knocking on the door at 30. Yes, he's hating on him for something that happened. It's closer to 40 years ago. Garrett says, can't wait to throw hands with the Markey haters. Sign me up, fella. World's Worst Gamer, Faye does not hate. I told the truth about 87-88 final game of the playoffs, and I told the truth about where he was drafted and how most people would have expected more from a guy we drafted at that spot. I mean, I don't even know. Jason said, if it's not this year with Fitz, then what are we doing with the score? I wish I had the answers, man. I wish I had the answers. It's crazy how the years just fly by. And the 2003 Cup, when the playoffs roll around, is going to be 23 years old. Completely insane. Yeah, we're all getting old. Yep. Thanks, Ace. Thanks for reminding me I'm old. Yeah, we're just aging out here. I don't think 90% of this chat is old. We have some young bucks in here. Chase, no, either go for it or blow it up one playoff round. Win since 2012. It's a joke. It's true. I have multiple double fingers of scotch in, and now I'm thinking about how old I am. Oh, boy. Yeah, Justin, Dano won 3 cups. Exactly. What are we even talking about? Mr. Devil. Need to have Dano teach some of these devils how to fight. Would love to see that. All right, I got to use the restroom real quick. I'll leave the I'll leave the game stats up there. People seem to like that. I'll be right back in 2 minutes, and we'll start closing this down. I'm just so pissed off about this game. Just so pissed. Be right back. Be right back. All right. Oh, my God. Lapine, what is the point of being a doomer or blaming one player? What kind of life is that? So we've talked about this. It comes down to that we firmly believe as a group of non-doomers, there's plenty of them here, and shout out to all of you, that the doomers like to harp on negativity and they care more about being right than the team doing well. And so when someone plays bad, this guy sucks, and then they just keep harping on it and they feel some sort of self-vindication or something because their lives must be miserable. I don't know. It's something along those lines. And then someone here got real into the it's just some psychological condition, I believe. I forget someone who said it, and I meant to look it up and I forgot. There's like a name for this, I think. "23 minutes and 40 minutes in the box. What the hell kind of team is this?" They rose to the occasion. I have to give them their props for that. It's just unfortunate that we got pretty much pummeled in all of it, but you know. Oh wait, I got it. Hold on 1 second here. Trap? No, come on. Anyway. Yeah, anyway is really a good way to anyway. That's pretty much what I want to say to almost half these comments. Jay Snow, it's even worse, these young fans who have seen such bad hockey for so long. I mean, a lot of them at least have that 22-23 season. But, for those that have been around a while and saw great success, it's unfortunate. A lot of the younger fans seem to just be happy with making the playoffs. And that's honestly, while you want to make the playoffs, that's really just the bare minimum. Like, you want to go on deep runs. Making the playoffs is nothing to celebrate to the level some of these people do. See those hit totals? Go watch the game again and count real hits. These hit totals are fake, and I'm glad people in the hockey business are starting to point it out. So are you saying they're inflated? Is that what you're saying? David with a truth bomb. I love it. always could count on David to come with something like this. I just didn't have the energy to dig up. It wasn't even worth really addressing too much, in my opinion. But Dano, 18th overall, 1,283 games played. Defensive and grit beast. Something like half the players selected in the first round after pick 15 never make the show. People talk without thinking. I mean, yeah, to talk any ill word about Dano is just it's clear that I don't know. Jason says Devil's derangement syndrome. Sook, do you know what being mindlessly positive no matter the circumstances is called? Gullible. Okay. I mean, I don't think that's the case either, but John Fay, at least they were willing to drop the gloves. No, I said that. I got to give them their credit for standing up for themselves and each other and sticking together, and that's 100 times better than what we've seen in previous seasons at some points. But I'd like to be on the winning end of some of these. Hit numbers are inflated. Okay. Did you know Dano had a failed clearing attempt at 96 that cost us a game? He sucks. Totally. Maria, refs gave Nico such a hard time in the faceoffs. Yeah, I feel like there's been plenty of games this year where you're like, damn, he's getting kicked out a lot. I don't know what the story with that is. Faye, if you're going to lose as a team and don't leave anyone hanging out in the dust as much as we all hate losing. Snow Devil, here's my psycho analysis. I think the Doomers fear being let down. If you see the negative, you can't be let down when things go wrong. Maybe. Lapine, I've been around a while. After the team was traded away and then Marty was gone, I had a hard time watching. Jack brought me back. I think a lot of people kind of fell into that. It was like Marty was pretty much the end of the glory years, and then there was some rough years, and it was easy for people to kind of fall out of it. And then once we got Jack, it was like, okay, it's kind of like some new blood reinvigorating the team and the fan base. So I could totally see that. All right, guys, that's it. I'm done. Devils lose a painful one tonight at the Rock to the Blue Jackets, falling by a score of 5-3. It is now back-to-back losses on home ice at the Rock, looking to get back in the win column Wednesday night, back at the Rock again against the Dallas Stars. Not going to be easy. And they're going to have to figure it out. A 3-game losing streak on home ice would be damn near catastrophic. Yeah, what a wild ride this season is with all these injuries. It's really crazy. Devils had that 3-game losing streak. Then they rattled off a 3-game winning streak and now run a 2-game losing streak. The consistently inconsistent New Jersey Devils. Dilly's 1,000th game tonight. We went to war. Dilly left the game, fought to come back, played a little bit, and then ultimately left. Hopefully he is feeling okay. Hopefully he doesn't miss a lot of time, if any. And we'll see. He would be another massive loss to this team, more specifically the decimated blue line. And we're going to see. It is just tonight was one of those games that really was frustrating, and even more frustrating to be there live. Fisticuffs galore and nearly fisticuffs. That's it, guys. Appreciate you all. Hit the thumbs up on your way out. I got lots of stuff in the works, trying to make some things happen. We got some roadblocks, some other things, but we'll see how it all goes. But a lot of things in the works. And back Wednesday night. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, Let's go, Devils.